Hey guys, it is about 10:20 a.m. on this Tuesday, May 27th, 2025, the day after Memorial Day. Basically the official start of summer, even though it's not really summer yet until next month. Um, but I wanted to come on here and give you guys a bit of a vlog as to what's been going on, what's being planned to happen, and I've talked about this before, but I just wanted to, kind of like update you guys, more on what's happening or what has happened. Now, I'm sure as you're aware, I'm sure as you're aware, and I'm still kind of waking up a little bit, guys. I do apologize, even though I've been awake a couple hours now. Still kind of waking up and all that. You know how that is. You're awake for a few hours, and but all of a sudden you still feel tired, like you want to rest more. That's kind of my situation right now. But anyway, to get to the point, as I've alluded to over the past week, I had a very interesting time here with my laptop, but thank God, thank the Lord above, it's working properly now. And as I recorded with my MetaQuest 3S, I talked about what happened, and as you can see, I'm using the touchpad, and the arrow, is working a lot better. It's working a lot better and everything. And one thing that makes me realize that maybe my mouse that I had connected right here where my keyboard's connected at is the fact that right there you can tell all I have to do is just one click and everything, refreshes, or I can go to another page and all that without issue. But when it came to the mouse, when I would use this mouse, instead of instead of doing that, just like I did there with the touchpad, instead I'd be doing this. And I'm thinking, okay, something's not right, because it shouldn't be having me load up. It shouldn't be having me, not load up, but have me click twice just to get to a screen, when it should just be one time like it used to. Now, I will take responsibility and say that it's kind of my fault that I didn't turn off my mouse at night, even though my computer was on. I will take, responsibility for that. I should have turned it off. It may have helped, keep it, going up till now. But even with that said, though, I have noticed that basically when I would charge it, the charging, even though it'd get fully charged, the full charge wouldn't last, as long as it used to. So that, along with the double clicking and everything, kind of gave me the signs that maybe the mouse did have something to do with the my computer crashing on numerous occasions. Because what I would notice is, like here with the touchpad and everything, as you could tell, it's not an issue. Everything is fine. But when I would try to scroll down, now I can take the mouse here, I'll take the arrow here and go over here, and I could use this to scroll down, or I can use the arrows here to scroll down. That's not an issue. But when I would use the mouse, I would be noticing as of late that, basically the arrow would lag when I would try to pull down a page on a website to look something up, to read something. It would lag, and I'm thinking, okay, what's going on here? Or I would go to one of my file folders to basically use some items in there to maybe make a video or something, or whatever the case might be, and it would be slow. So I'm thinking, what's going on? And eventually I had this feeling, especially recently, that I was going to probably lead to a crash, and it did lead to a crash. So again, I do take responsibility of maybe not maintaining the mouse as much as I should have, but I still feel that it shouldn't have worn out that, in that manner. Now, I've had the mouse for a couple of years, probably a little less longer than I've had my PC. And my laptop, I've had for almost 10 years. It still works well, thank the Lord. But the mouse I've had for about maybe a year or so less than the laptop. But anyway, it shouldn't have worn out in that manner. It shouldn't have worn out in that kind of a situation. Excuse me. It shouldn't have worn out in that kind of situation, but it did. And I'm just wondering if maybe the lifetime warranty for it was, not as long as a lifetime warranty, like, let's say, for a laptop could be. But anyway, yeah. As soon as I basically, resolve the issue, because what I had to do a couple of times is, last Tuesday around this time frame, is I had to hard restart this laptop, and the third time around I just did what I should have done the first time, and that's disconnect all the USB plugs with the exception of the Ethernet cable, and just go from there, see what happens. And lo and behold, after I unplugged these things along with the USB multi-tap that I would use to plug this in and the mouse in. Oh, not the mouse, but my mic in. The mouse was actually on its own right here where the keyboard is. When I unplugged that, and I unplugged, like I said, the USB dongle for the mouse, everything, on the third attempt, thank the Lord, was okay. Everything was fine, but I still gave it a little bit of time to continue its rebuilding, and so on, and see what happens. So I let it do that, and again, thank the Lord, everything turned out all right. And all I did afterwards was just, go back to a simplified, Outlook, if you will, and just plug in the external hard drive and the keyboard, and that's it. That's all I did. Now, I'm not saying it was the mouse or anything, and I'm not saying it wasn't, but it does feel like all signs point to that. Not just because of my fault in not maintaining it the way I should have, but also the fact that when I tested out the multi-tap on my retrocade right here on the second player port on the retrocade, because some games I have on there ROM-wise can only be operational with 2 players, like Terminator 2 Judgment Day. So when I did that, the multi-tap was fine. The multi-tap worked fine and everything. There was no issue there. Now, I'm not sure about the blue snowball mic that I have, the blue ice snowball mic here that I have. I'm not sure if that could have been a reason. I don't think so. Because, if it was, it wouldn't be registering. I mean, I know the wiring can be, a little messed up to where it won't be registered by the computer, but still, it's like, okay, something would not come up. Like, if I'm recording with the, let's say the OBS Studio, I should say the OBS Studio, basically the mic, if I want to use the snowball mic, it would not be registered. So to me, it couldn't be the mic, because it would have crashed the computer a long time ago if that was the case. And I wasn't always using the mic. I wasn't always using the mic all the time, except when I was recording. So again, all signs to me pointed towards the mouse. And looking things up online, that's exactly probably what was the issue, or what was the case, if you will. Now, with that said, basically, thank the Lord, it's been about a week now, and things have turned out okay. Things have turned out all right. And what's interesting, and how I know it could have been the mouse too, is basically when the mouse was connected, as you can see, we have the load light right now and everything going on, but that load light would come on a lot more, if you will, would come on a lot more with the mouse connected than it does now. And I could hear that I don't know, you could hear that, but it's currently working. And look how quickly the light went off. Look how quickly the light went off as soon as I touched this. Now, when I would touch the mouse in the past, when it would be working properly, it'd do the same thing. But lately, it wasn't doing that. And again, it was loading a lot more. It wouldn't, stop loading as soon as you touched it and everything to calm it down. Because when a computer, from what I understand, goes into standby mode, either with the screen still on, or it goes into the blank, it kind of like, basically turns off, the screen turns off and everything. Basically, it will load stuff in the background, like little updates and stuff like that, to keep things working properly. So I noticed that there's less of that, and less, well, I wouldn't say less of, but basically a more quicker resolved issue when it comes to like the browser pages not responding and such. So basically, like I said, all signs pointed to my wireless mouse pretty much. And again, I do take responsibility for not maintaining it, the way I should have. But all signs seem to be pointing towards the mouse not working as properly as it should have. But outside of that, it's been an interesting week, there's no doubt. Of course, it was Memorial Day weekend, as we all know. And the matriarch in our family had, yesterday, along with all teachers and workers, had that off. So that wasn't an issue and everything. And this week's going to be a very short week for the matriarch and for the rest of my family, because we have a graduation to go to on Friday for my third oldest nephew, his high school graduation. So we got that upcoming, and that's going to make things interesting for the rest of this week, because today, tomorrow, and Thursday I should be fine, but come Friday, just like yesterday, things might be a little bit more different, because as you noticed yesterday, I didn't really upload anything, because it was not just Memorial Day, but because of the fact that, one of those situations to where you got to work around, the circumstances, if you will. But with that said, pretty much this week, these next 3 days, today, tomorrow, and Thursday, pretty much are going to be okay. And also, but come Friday, I should say, that'll be completely different. You may have also noticed that I've been uploading some videos lately, and one of them I did using Power Director on the Mary Jane Venom and why comic book writers make these decisions and all that. I did that with my phone. I even noted that I did that with my phone in the description. So what I'm doing is I'm going to be doing a lot more on my phone, hopefully without issue, to save on my computer, on my laptop for the time being, until I get a mini PC or something. So if you see any projects like that come in the future, it'll be because of me creating it on my phone. But anyway, though, guys, I just wanted to come on here and talk about what's been happening. I know I repeated stuff I already talked about, but just wanted to update you more on what's been going on and why it happened and all that. And that's all I can really say, but let me know what your thoughts are overall. And until then,